What's up, everybody? Derek Anderson, the DA. All right, everybody, back to the Warner Brothers Discovery sale. And look, if you're a gun gooner,
it's over. We are screwed.
Not looking good, baby. It's not looking good at all, man. Seems like the forces of the universe are all collectively lining up against James Gunn and the DCU, and this thing is about over, okay? This is about over when it comes to who's going to win, who's going to lose the bid, and what's going to happen to the DCU on the other side of it, all right? We talked about this one before. The Middle East, all right? Saudis are out here trying to get them a piece of WB, and it seems like Paramount Skydance's latest bid for Warner Brothers Discovery is now being backed by 3 Middle Eastern wealth funds.
Tell them to bring me my money.
And you know the Middle East, you know who they favored, all right? Who did they want to roll with? Oh, they rolling with Zack. All right, they rolling with the Snyderverse, all right? We've talked about this one. DC, James Gunn is teaming up with Zack Snyder and the Saudis. It's like, is James Gunn really going to have to team up with Zack Snyder and the Saudis? Well, it looks like if he wants to keep playing in the DC sandbox, he's going to have to, okay? Because, look, they got 3 of them on there now, all right? Paramount Skydance offer for all of WB includes funding from Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund, the Qatar Investment Authority, and the Abu Dhabi Investment Authority. So they lining up major bread to try to put themselves in the mix. And if they putting this much money in there, you automatically know that they're going to have some say-so as to what's happening with the DCU and with other projects that they want to talk about.
That's not ridiculous. That's not ridiculous to say that.
And so, yeah, James Gunn, he's probably just sitting there like, damn, man, this ain't looking good right now, man. Oh, man, I hope I get to make Manna tomorrow. Hey, man, that's still up in the air. They can always just pull the plug on it.
Rejected.
You know, even though they're already in pre-production, you never know what could happen, okay? But yeah, like, we got some more information, all right? James Gunn's DC future is in jeopardy as Zack Snyder teases the DC scoop confirmed. Yeah, you see this bruh lining up, hanging out with Jim Lee?
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
Like, now you got Zack Snyder hanging out with Jim Lee. And it's like, wait a minute, time out, man. Ain't Jim Lee working for James Gunn? Did he arrange this little setup or meeting or whatever? Nah, Jack's just hanging out. Say, hey, man, I got to start talking to my new partners, all right? The folks that's going to be making shit happen, I got to start talking to these dudes.
It's an evil world we live in.
Bruh, it is over, man. James Gunn is a wrap, all right? James done in full effect, all right? Or James gone, however you want to put it. This dude is a mess. And this is the real telling one, all right? This is the real telling one right here. Zack Cregger. He has met with Paramount about a Gotham set DCU movie. Where's James Gunn? They ain't even talking to this guy right now. Zack Cregger is meeting up with Paramount. He's talking about doing a DCU movie without the DCU CEO anywhere in the mix. It's over, y'all. It's absolutely over. Just pull the plug on it. Stick a fork in it. It's done.
He ain't lying.
James done. Where's James? Man, he's looking for another job. He probably talking to Kevin Feige. Yo, Kev, can I get my job back? They about to run me up out of here, man. Another Zack. You got Zack Cregger, Zack Snyder. If your name is Zack, man, James Gunn is having nightmares about you right now, man. It's like, this is bad for this dude because, look, James Gunn, he gave it his best shot. I'm not saying that he didn't try to do a good job with the DCU, but at the end of the day, it just wasn't what anybody wanted. Nobody cared about what it was that he was doing, especially with Creature Commandos and Peacemaker.
We don't care.
Let me tell you something.
We don't care.
Unless you are a dyed-in-the-wolves hardcore fan, but it wasn't going to play with the general audience. And again, when you're making these giant blockbuster cinematic universes, the first thing you need to do is tap into the general audience, which is what I was saying yesterday. Hey, maybe your first or your second project should have been Batman instead of Supergirl.
Well, no fucking shit.
Now that it's Supergirl, it's like, well, you kind of stuck with it now. And if Supergirl flops, everybody's going to be looking at this cat like James Gunn don't know what the fuck he doing, y'all. James Gunn don't know what he doing. It's time to get over here and start talking to Zack. Zack had the intelligence to go Superman, Man of Steel, and then Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice. He had the intelligence to say, hey, man, we got to hurry up and get these other guys in here. Even though we felt it was too rushed. And I agree, he probably should have had a Batman movie before he went to BVS. But nevertheless, hey, I got to get Batman in the mix. I can't be waiting for it. James Gunn ain't even cast a Batman.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
I think this dude is already over and done with. This was on Collider right here. It says, although James Gunn and Peter Safran have plenty of plans laid out for the DCU, it appears that Paramount Skydance may have some ideas of its own if they take over at Warner Brothers. A new report from Puck reveals that now David Ellison-owned entertainment giant may already be considering projects they'd like to see made in the superheroes cinematic universe following an acquisition. That includes a new project from Weapons director Zack Cregger that Paramount Pictures co-chair Josh Greenstein has already discussed with the filmmaker. All indications are that the company's leadership would wrest some control from the current DCU heads if they are eventually brought into the Paramount fold. So they ain't gonna have no power. They're basically not going to have any power once all is said and done. And they talking about like, yeah, De Luca's already taken up control. All right. Matt McGloin, shout out to him. He's been on top of this thing and everybody's been laughing at him and pointing fingers at him and stuff like that. Some well-known people, all right, on YouTube been laughing at him. Okay. You know, one of them named Con Jampia. They've been laughing. It sounds like this little rag magazine and stuff like that. And like, bruh, he's been over the target. He's been right over the target. I'm not saying every single solitary thing he says has been on point, but he's been like 90% there. Yeah, man. So now Gunn is sidelined as De Luca takes control of DC. Let's go ahead and read this. Following the recent report from Puck News, I heard back from my insiders who suggest that James Gunn is already done at DC. The insiders point to how Puck reported that Paramount executives went above Gunn and visited Weapons director Zack Cregger in Prague, where he is filming his new Resident Evil movie, to talk about his DC pitch. De Luca and Abdi, not Gunn, are the ones who brought in Cregger. As my insiders previously pointed out, Mike De Luca and Pam Abdi, heads of WB Films, are the ones who brought Zack Cregger into Warner Brothers. Weapons was huge, as was Minecraft, which De Luca dated the sequel only 2 weeks after Gunn's Man of Tomorrow. Both De Luca and Abdi have their contracts renewed. James Gunn's contract has not been renewed and expires next year. Yeah, November 1st, 2026. That's when James Gunn's contract ends. So like I've said before, he got 3 movies, or 3 projects, I should say, to really show the world that, hey, I know exactly what it is I'm doing. I'm the right person for the job. Let me cook. Leave me alone. Yeah, Supergirl, in my opinion, is the biggest mistake. All right, because this is like the next movie. All right, it's following up your first movie, Superman. Number 2 movie, hey, this is where you really got to show people, hey, I'm serious. I know what I'm doing. This is going to be great. And he's giving a Supergirl. This, in my opinion, was the biggest mistake out of all of his early projects. Even bigger, in my opinion, than Creature Commandos. There's no way in the world this should be your second movie. All right, Superman being the first movie is perfect. Supergirl being the second movie is stupid. All right, just straight up stupid. Then we get the Clayface, and then everybody's just going to be like, why? Why this character? Why this time? You know, similar to Supergirl, but it's not like, you know, the second movie, and it's a small budget. It probably can make its money back. I heard it's only like $40 million. So it probably makes its money back. But at the end of the day, it's just like, it's a waste. All right. Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, go. That's what the DCU should have been to start off. And everybody's going to get on board. Everybody's going to give them an opportunity. But now it's like, oh, it's Superman. Supergirl, Clayface, like, I'm good, okay? And then the last project, the one that got bumped back, all right, which should be coming up next, but I have a feeling that they pushed pause on this because they're going to be doing a whole lot of heavy lifting in this series, trying to add some interest in this to make everybody start to care about the DCU. Because I don't really see any reason to bump this back unless you're doing that. If it's just going to be a straightforward kind of TV series, you know, detective story, 2 Green Lanterns, a buddy cop movie on the hunt for criminals and trouble, whatever, murder, mystery, I think they said, then just roll it out there. You know, the fresh special effects, you could get those together, but just roll it out there. I think they're going to have to put something in this to make people start to care about the DCU. Do some connection, world building, whatever you want to call it, you know. But look, at the end of the day, it might not matter anyway, because right now, James Gunn losing power as the new DC plans form behind the scenes without him. They talking to Zack Cregger. Zack Snyder is hanging out with Jim Lee. Everybody's like, James who? All right, I got my Saudi friends to talk it up with. I got to talk to my Saudi buddies. All right. And they like, yeah, we got to get Zack in on a meeting. They probably gonna have Zach Cregger and everybody else, James Gunn, gonna be on the outside looking in. It's like, oh shit, man, what's going on in there? I wonder what's happening. Yeah, that's what's gonna be going down. James Gunn, you had your opportunity, man. And look, I was rooting for him. I was rooting for him as a guy that grew up loving like the little guy. He came from trauma. All right, he came from a spot you could have never imagined. The dude that came from trauma rising all the way to the top of the head of DC Studios. I was rooting for him. All right, but at the end of the day, he just didn't know what he was doing. All right, so now he got all these backstabbers. You got all of these backstabbers coming in just saying, hey, what's up, man? Yeah, now I do think James Gunn should still try to work with him. Maybe stay in there as a creative consultant. Give him some ideas, but he by no means should be the head of the studio. He's as bad a head of studio as Kathleen Kennedy, just not given enough time. If you gave this dude some more time and full carte blanche to do whatever he wanted, oh my God, best believe he would have ran DC straight up into the ground. Right? Actually, he already has, but it would have got a lot worse. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think about it, man. James Gunn, I think it's over for him. All right. I think it's a wrap. They talking to people behind his back. The Saudis are lining money up. Everybody's good to go. The Snyderverse looks like it's full steam ahead. I don't know how they would put the Snyderverse back together again. If they could get Ben Affleck and Gal Gadot and Henry Cavill and all of these guys to go and do the Justice League. But you know what? Where there's a will, there's a way. And if the fans want it and the money is right and the Saudis are saying, yeah, finish it up. Zach, we got action. All right, we got action, baby. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think about it. Go ahead, jump down in the comments. Give me your thoughts and opinions on that. Thanks for watching. See you next time.